It's true.
Where have you been already?
Hold on. Hey, here we go. Fractions and decimals. So, the unit on measurement will focus on two types of measuring system. The metric system, which is commonly used as decimals. Almost all the time it's going to have decimals. It's a base 10. So that means it's groups of 10s, just decimal systems like you're used to. The imperial system, okay, that's the US, and of course Britain. It's a fraction-based system. So a lot of it's going to be 16ths. Okay, you will not have decimals. There'll be a couple weird questions in your textbook where you might see some decimals for it, but it's not technically correct. Okay, usually we want to have it as a fraction, and then you got to round. It's kind of weird. So when converting from metric to imperial, you may be asked to convert into fractions. So for each mixed number is an improper fraction. We have 7 over 4, 7 and 3 over 4 rather. To change it to an improper, we would go 7 times 4, which equals 28. So really, this 7 up front means there's 7 whole groups of 4, plus the 3. So what's the new numerator? 31 over 4. Okay. Next one, how do you do the next one? Probably what's the answer? Or are you just going to stare at the screen? That's what I want everyone to do. Please do the next one. Animal? Are you not done either? Evan?
67 over 16.
Perfect. 12. 67 over 12. Okay? So 5 times 12 equals 60 plus the 7. Knowing your times tables really helps, folks. Okay, write each improper fraction as a mixed number. This is a lot harder now. So you have to remove groups of 8. So how many groups of 8 can you take out of 37? Yeah, the answer is 4. So 8 times 4 equals 32. So really what we're doing is taking away 32. So we're taking out 4 groups of 8, and we have to figure out what's left over by subtracting. So what is that? 5? So we have 4 and 5/8. Okay, that one's a little bit trickier. Next one, go ahead and do it. 7 times 12 is 84. That should help you. Jordan? Good, 6 and 11 over 12. So 6 times 12 equals 72. So then we have to figure out when we remove 6 groups of 12, we have to subtract 72.
We are currently calling all grade 12's last names N through Z. Please report to the cafeteria now.
Okay, so converting decimals into sixteenths. So our whole number, this is your whole number right here. That equals 8. So it's 8 and something sixteenths. So what we have to do now is figure out how many sixteenths is 0.95. So we simply take our decimal, multiply it by 16. Now this is absolutely a calculator. Okay, 0.95 times 16. And that's going to equal 15.2. So what we have to do is we do have to round. So we don't say 15.2 over 16. That is wrong. We round and we say 15 over 16. 15 sixteenths. Okay? Okay, do the next one then, please. On your calculator. Six and then 0.388 times 16. Good. Good. So 6.208. So it's going to be 6 and 6 over 16. How many people have that as their final answer? Hands up. And why is it wrong? Because you got to reduce to 6 and 3 over 8. Reduce to lowest terms. Okay, always reduce your fractions. Good. Okay, now the other thing that's often weird is height is often measured in feet and inches. So for example, 5 feet 5 inches, that's Miss Bowater's height. I'm 6 foot 1 inch. So 5 is your whole number, 5 feet. And how many inches then? Okay, so you have 0.4167. There's 12 inches in every foot. So what will we multiply by to convert this into twelfths, essentially? Multiply by 12. Okay, that's going to tell us how many inches there are. 0.4167 times 12, 5.004. So what do you think we should round to? 5. Okay, so we're just going to say 5 feet 5 inches. And you have to keep those together. So there's no decimals, just feet and inches. Okay, do the next one, please, yourself. So what's the close? What should you round to? 3. Okay. So 9 feet 3 inches. So you wouldn't include the decimals. No decimals. Okay. And that's a little weird because a lot of us see this decimals. We're used to putting them there. You can't. Okay. Okay. Good old Pythagoras. So across from this 9-degree symbol, we call that your hypotenuse. Hypotenuse. Okay. In your formula, that must be the letter C. A and B don't matter as long as they are leg. So we call this a generic leg, a generic leg. The formula is C squared equals, and I always like to start with that one, equals A squared plus B squared. Okay. So really it's the hypotenuse squared equals a leg squared plus a leg squared. And you need to understand, or what can help you understand, is that this has to be the largest. Therefore, you should add. Right? The hypotenuse is always the largest, so you got to add them up. Okay. Compare that to when you're finding A squared equals C squared minus B squared. This here is smaller than the hypotenuse. That is why you must subtract. You can't add it to make it bigger than the hypotenuse. You must subtract from the hypotenuse. So that green writing there is the key to getting Pythagoras perfect. Okay? Think about, am I finding the hypotenuse? Then I should make it bigger. Or if I have the hypotenuse, I have to make it smaller. Okay? Now for us in grade 10, we do Pythagoras of Pythagoras. So what we want to do first of all is find y. That's the first step. We have a triangle 1, we find y, then we work on triangle 2. So is y the hypotenuse or is it a leg? On this triangle, this is your hypotenuse. That's key. Right? We have a whole unit based on finding the hypotenuse. Okay? So we can say y squared equals hypotenuse squared minus 10 squared. 144 minus 100. Y squared equals 44. Now using your skills, y then equals square root 44. Don't touch your calculator, because that's your final answer. However, we can, all right, let's go to, let's do the next one now, find x squared. So x squared equals, what should we do? Add or subtract? According to the other triangle, this is your hypotenuse. So we should add. So it's going to be y squared plus 8 squared. So what is y squared? It's going to be square root of 44. This is new for you. I'm writing it like that way on purpose, so please write the exact same. So what does that equal?
At this time, we're calling grade 11 students' last name starting with the letters A through F. Please report to the cafeteria.
Equals 44. We cancel each other out. That's why you shouldn't touch a calculator, because it's easier without it. Pretty cool stuff. Okay, that's grade 10 for you. So then you can just add them up. X squared equals 108. So what does x equal? Square root 108. But you're not done. Don't touch your calculator. Now you want to simplify it. So divide by 2. Divide by 2. Divide by 3. Divide by 3. So here's a pair you can take out. And here's a pair you can take out. So x equals 2 times 3. And what's left behind? 3 on the bottom. So your final answer for grade 10 is 6 root 3. No decimals. Exact answer. Yeah, go. Whatever you get missed from the notes, you can get off the website, okay? Pretty easy stuff. Good, next one. We'll show you why it's super easy now. X squared. Where's your hypotenuse? It's over here. So should we add or subtract our squares? Marisa, what do you think? Bingo. Okay. So it's square root 75 squared minus square root 50 squared. And I wrote it that way on purpose, so please copy it exactly. What happens with squares and square roots? Cancel each other out. So look how easy this is. 75 minus 50. Oh yeah. X squared equals 25. So what does x equal? Yeah, square root 25, which equals 5. Perfect answer. No decimals. Love it. Okay. All right, next one. This next example here, you have to bring the 7 inside. Please do that. Show 2 steps of work. You have to bring the 5 inside as well. Show 2 steps of work. That's a big number, so use your calculator to help, right? 49 times 5, 245. So this is going to be on your test tomorrow. Not the skill, but not the Pythagoras. Right? 5 times 5 times 3, so 75. Okay, so that's what's on your test, just being able to do that stuff in the red. Right. Okay, so let's find, what letter should we call this here? A, sure, M, B, anything really. What letter shouldn't you call it? C, because C we usually reserve for the hypotenuse, okay? So let's call it X. I like using X's a lot, if you haven't noticed. X squared equals square root 245 squared. Add or subtract, what do you guys think? Subtract, good. So I wrote it like that on purpose. I encourage you to write exactly the same.
Do you always have to write like this?
Yeah.
When
You could do it without the brackets too, because it would be the same thing. $170. Okay, in the margin over on the left, please take 170 and divide by 2. See what you can take out. A little practice for your test. Go. You want to simplify. That would be the instructions. Simplify. So what's your final answer? Marisa? So what you're saying is you could do this? Can you take anything out? No. Yeah, so what you would do then is leave this as your final answer, okay? You would put all of them to multiply together, okay? And you're right, you can't take anything out. Okay, number 4. Circle it. I have seen these so many in grade 10, it's not funny. Okay, we call this the super hypotenuse because we're not going from A to C. That would just be a hypotenuse of the front triangle. What we're doing is we're doing from A to B. So your triangle is, say, connecting D to B. Right there. And it's kind of going into your page. A little bit weird, isn't it? Okay. So, a couple different ways we can do this. Basically, we got to figure out DB. What's the length of DB? How we do that is we use the 2 triangles. We use the triangle on the floor, which is the 5 and the 3, to find DB. Okay. Once we have DB, then we can use DB to find AB, right there. So you got to do Pythagoras twice. So let's find DB squared. Looking at the bottom triangle, is DB the hypotenuse? Gagan, what do you think? Do you think it's the hypotenuse? Yeah, it is, right? Because here's 90 degrees. That's the opposite side. Okay, your triangle that we're talking about right here is right on the bottom. Okay, yeah, that's the triangle we're talking about there in green. Okay, so DB squared equals 3 squared plus 5 squared equals 9 plus 25. DB squared equals 34. Let's just leave it as 34. I'll show you why in a second. Okay. So then what we want to do, now we're going to deal with the red triangle. So we're going A to D all the way to C and then up there. Okay. So we're trying to find AB squared. Now AB happens to be the hypotenuse again. So we're going to add 2 squared plus DB squared. So that equals 4 plus what? What's the value of DB squared? 34. Good job, Gioni. Okay. So AB squared equals 38. AB then equals square root 38. And I want you to try and simplify that. Okay.
38 by 2 is 19. 16.
Oh. What is it, 19?
Yeah.
Thanks. And then we're done, aren't we? So the answer is root 38. Root 38. Okay. Boys that just got back, number 4, that's a classic. That's going to be on tests and quizzes. I absolutely guarantee it, okay? So make sure you star it. You can get the notes online. Watch the video for that section. It's an important one, okay? Okay.
At this time, we're calling grade 11's last names G through M. Please proceed to the cafeteria.
Any others? Okay, so perimeter, this is on your formula sheet, this little bit right here. You have to know what all the letters say. There will be a little section explaining the letters. Okay. For a triangle, I want to point out that the base and height join at 90 degrees. Okay, so you got to look for your 90-degree symbol in the triangle. Good. A lot of your answers for circles will end in pi. So if the radius equals 4, the area equals pi times 4 squared. So area equals 16 pi. And that's your final answer. So then we don't have to round, because that's exact. Okay, so be ready for that for your circles. Pravi, would you like to sit on the floor? It's not leaning back. Okay, good. Find the perimeter area of each shape. So for this one, you're going to have to subtract to find the measurements. Absolutely. Okay. So right here, I just lied to you. Area 1, area 2. And that's going to equal the area total. Okay. So length times width plus length times width. 5 times 20 plus 7 times 5. So that's going to be 100 plus 35. So our total is 135 centimeters squared. Or square centimeters. Okay. For number 2, sorry, perimeter. Got to do perimeter, thanks. I know, so easy though. Perimeter, add them up. Okay, so perimeter, we want to add all sides. So 5 plus 20 plus plus what? 12. Okay, 5 plus 7 equals 12. Thank you. Plus 5 plus 7 plus, what's this measurement here then? It would be 20 minus 5, so that would be 15. Okay, so you're going to usually have to subtract to find all the measurements you need. Okay. Now we have them all. Add them up. I just add them up first. 64 centimeters. Did you guys get that? Okay, good. Next one. Diameter equals 10. So what does the radius equal? 5. They're always going to do that to you. Okay. Then the area is pi r squared. Pi times 5 squared. And that does not equal 5 times 2. 5 squared equals what? Yeah, 5 times 5. So area equals 25 pi. Okay. We always write the number in front of the letter. Pi is a Greek letter. Okay, so 25 pi. Circumference, I like to use the formula 2 pi r. Whoops. 2 pi r. So 2 times pi times 5. So 10 pi is your final answer. This will be meters, and the area would be meters squared. Okay. I know it went super fast, but do you have any questions? This is a good review time. Okay. Good. Here we go. Find the area first. Base times height divided by 2. So I'm just going to go 7 times 12. Why would I just go 7 times 12? Yeah, because I found half of 24, right? So I can divide by 2 anytime you want. 84 meters squared. Good. What about for the perimeter? What do we have to do? Yeah, you're going to have to figure that out first by doing, what do you call it? Pythagoras. Okay, so you got to do Pythagoras. I'm going to call it x. You can call it whatever you want. Okay. No. So this one was cooked up, right? So x equals 25. So in the perimeter, you add them all up. Good. So your formula for volume is the area of the base times your height. Now the 6 is written up top, but you can write that down below as well. Sometimes the measurements you need aren't written in the same spot. Okay. So this one you would substitute in 5 times 2 times the height of the object, which is 6. Sorry, I screwed that up. 6 times 2, and the height is 10. Okay. So 12 times 10, 120 units cubed, or cubic units. Okay. Any questions? We're going to cover more about volume and talk about it, but this idea of area of the base is really important because that's going to help you with your formulas. Okay. Please turn to your worksheet now. There's a few we're going to cross off. Circle number 4, that's getting a little intense, okay? So you gotta do root 72. That's getting a little intense. Those are good. Try it last. Number 8, I mean, that's circle that. That's beyond us. We won't do anything like that, okay?
4, 7, and 8.
What's that?
Section 4, 7, and 8.
Okay, 4, 7, and 8. There you go. It's on your outline. Awesome, Jamie. Okay. And this last one's going to be a bit of a challenge, but you can do your best, okay? So, if I were you, I would do this tomorrow night. And I would do your review for the test right now, because that's where you can ask me all the questions you want. Okay, like pepper me with questions, get me to show you as much as I can so that you learn as much as you can. Okay, so I'd finish off the reviews right now. We can do this later. And let me pause this.